Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar Elm, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Darryl Matthews, founder and creative lead at Primrose Consulting, a branding boutique that transforms businesses through strategic design and cohesive brand narratives. With over 14 years in design leadership, Darryl guides companies from identity to launch. Darryl, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks so much for having me today.
I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning. So take us on a little journey down memory lane to before you started Primrose Consulting. What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Okay. It's been a wild ride. So I've always just been at the intersection of creativity and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Before Primrose Consulting, I founded and co-owned multiple businesses in the hospitality area, a book publishing company, and also like a coffee shop and roastery, handling everything on the creative side. So the design and storytelling, customer experience, the marketing, and the growth from that standpoint.
Mhm.
And I found out that the underlying thread to all of those things was I loved the strategy of branding, how you connect with the customer and how you really dig deep enough to know what you're about and how to project that.
Okay. I love that. I love that. So you had a passion for it. I'm curious, why start another company instead of maybe just getting a job in that field? Walk me through that thought process.
When you get bit by the entrepreneur bug, it's hard to let go. It's
Yeah.
hard to let go of the freedom, the flexibility of that. And I knew with the knowledge and experience I gained from my previous entrepreneurial endeavors
Yeah.
that I would be able to go about this and grow this, filling this gap between the execution of marketing and the strategy.
I love that. So let's fast forward today to give the listeners a little bit more context into your business. Who is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with? Then from there, what are the different offers and services that you provide?
So, ideal customer, we're still pretty early in the journey. This is the first year for this particular thing focused specifically on it. So, we're still narrowing down who the ideal customer is. Medium sized businesses that are established and maybe floundering a bit because a lot of times in a small and medium sized business, people tend to get a little bogged down with everything they have to do. And then they lose track of the clarity of why they do what they do. And my job is to come in and help that stagnant business or a new startup as well that wants to start things right off the bat and know exactly who they serve, what they're doing, and where they're going.
Okay, got it. So really
Mhm.
small, medium-sized businesses,
Yeah.
startups
Mhm.
as well. Let's say these folks are listening, right?
Yeah.
What are the different offers and services that you provide? What do you actually help people with, if that makes sense?
I got you. I got you. It's mainly on the strategy side, but I do understand that a lot of times you have to connect execution with that. A lot of times people don't have someone on the team to then go and execute a clearly laid out strategy. I do offer those services as well. So my main thing right now is like a clarity session just to really help dive into what makes the brand tick and really
Okay.
uncover what it is that you do
Mm,
and who it is that you're trying to attract. If you're an ice cream business, for instance, you're selling joy. You're not selling ice cream. And so just really helping people to put words and legs on that so that they can then take action. And so we do some of the design work as well, brand marks and brand identity marks and graphic design and those types of things.
got it. Very cool. So
Mhm.
you've got the clarity session where you can
Mhm.
help them identify what their strategy should be, but then you can also help them with the implementation. Am I understanding that correctly?
Absolutely.
Got it.
Absolutely.
What does
Mhm.
a typical client engagement look like? Is it 3 months, 6 months, 12 months? What are we talking about here?
Currently, probably about 2 to 3 months. Yeah.
2, 3 months. Got it. Let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business. So obviously it's still a baby in a sense.
Yep.
Still,
Yep. Yep.
and when we say you're in the first year, does that mean 2025 you started or you started mid 2024?
2025. Yep.
Got it. Exciting. So let's talk about client acquisition and customer acquisition. When it comes to
Mhm.
generating leads for your business, how are you currently doing that? What does that look like?
Now, what's really funny is I also moved at the end of 2024. And so, whole new city, new business.
Whole new city, whole new business, whole new
Yep,
Darryl,
yep,
whole new year.
exactly. But I'm a shaker and mover. I love to get out and actually talk to people. And being a functional part of your community, I think, is hugely important to establish yourself as a thought leader in a specific space. So I've been doing a lot of networking and just trying to provide just no strings attached to value to people, whether it's on a networking call or grabbing a coffee and chatting, a trade of services, those types of things. So really just shaking and moving. And I'm really starting to also lean into LinkedIn as well.
So shaking and moving. Maybe not everybody listening to this understands what you mean by that. I'm
Okay.
assuming you're
Okay.
going out there, you're networking, you're going out
Yep.
there to different events, different conferences. Is that accurate, or is there anything that you would add to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just to unpack that urban vernacular. Yeah. Just getting outside and going and talking to people and being a human being. A lot of times we can get stuck behind a keyboard and send out cold emails or lukewarm emails or really try to pitch from our armchair. But when you can get outside and see someone's face, read their expressions, feel their heartbeat, I think makes a huge difference.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Now, when you think about, there's this theory that I always like to talk about. It's called the theory of constraints. Have you ever heard about that?
I've not.
So the idea is it's basically a management philosophy and it applies specifically to businesses, which basically
Okay.
means at any given point, there is one constraint in the business that is the most critical constraint. And if we were to fix that, it would unlock a whole new level of growth. Now, typically,
Hmm.
the problem with the majority of business owners is probably three things, is one of three things, one or more. The first is they don't know what their constraint is, so therefore they don't know what's the proper thing to tackle. One is they're focused on the wrong constraint, because you might have two or three different constraints, but one of
Hmm.
them is the most important to tackle right now. And the third is that they're trying to fix all constraints at once. So either they don't know what their constraint is, they don't know what
Hmm.
the constraint is, they are working on the wrong constraint, or they're trying to work on all of them all at once. With that being said, typically with these types of businesses, because I talk to a lot of agency owners, a lot of coaches, a lot of consultants, offer, lead gen, sales, fulfillment. Typically, that's the order of constraints. So leads is a big one, right? So
Hmm.
basically, inputting predictable lead generation into our businesses is absolutely critical. So when you think about approaching that, what is your strategy or plan to build more predictability and consistency with client acquisition?
So I think as far as a strategy or plan in doing that, I think one is just really nailing down who that is, first of all, knowing where you're aiming before you shoot. I think is hugely important in that. As far as bottlenecks go, I think for myself and my business with Primrose, I would say that knowing is my hiccup right now because like I alluded to earlier, the businesses that can afford the service typically they may or may not have the team for the execution from the strategy standpoint. And so it's just figuring out where it fits.
Got it. So
Mhm.
nailing down the ICP, nailing down the offer, really getting clear on the messaging and who it is that you're targeting and how you're gonna be able to help them. Is that accurate?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, let's shift a little bit to post leads. So once a lead does come in through the door, what are the different steps in the sales process that they go through for them to become a client?
Okay, so lead comes in the door. Obviously, it depends on how cold or warm it is, but generally, you have your kind of initial conversation. We set up a discovery call just to really, I like to listen. I think in my business, listening is hugely important. A lot of
Mhm.
times people want to dump an idea on you, but you need to listen for context
Yeah.
to know exactly how you can help. And also, I want to be honest with people so that are we a good fit or are we not? If I'm not, I got to let you know. So we do a discovery call. From there, we can do a proposal based on the clarity that we've started to establish. Obviously, we want to dive a lot deeper in that, but that's not going to happen on a discovery call. But give them a few nuggets and something to think about, and they go, "Oh, okay, I can see how you approach this and how this would then work." From there, we can roll into some of the package options of either the clarity session, which is a more friendly price point, or we can go into kind of a full brand session that will be over a period of a couple months. And
Got it.
then we deal with our deliverables and go from there.
Nice. You enjoy the sales?
I think once I'm in it,
Yeah.
totally fine. If I can get people there, it's totally fine. It's just acquiring the people. It's just the lead gen is probably more the
Yeah.
issue for me.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So then offer and then lead gen and building that predictability. Because if you can
Hmm.
have the
Hmm.
conversation in your face to face, it's not really an issue.
Absolutely, really not an issue.
So then let's think about the vision and really where you want to take the company. You're quite young, so maybe let's say, or the business is quite young, I should say. So let's say
Mhm.
the next 12 months. What are your revenue targets? What performance targets do you have? Paint me that picture of what the future looks like for you and Primrose.
Yeah, so right now, what I'm really trying to nail down is just establishing myself as a thought leader in the space.
Okay.
I feel like most of my entrepreneurial career has been finding gaps in different businesses and different genres of business. And so branding, I feel like it's in between marketing and then the execution of marketing. So like a web designer or general graphic designer, it's in between those two things. And so I have to, one, educate people to get them into the funnel.
Yep.
And so just looking at ways to do that, whether that is micro content or I'm looking between micro content on social media or a podcast. So I'm looking at those two things. As far as annual revenue goes, hoping to get towards the mid six figures in the next 12 months and just really expand my network of creative collaborators as well.
Nice, man. That's exciting. If you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice that you wish you knew when you were first starting in business, something you know now, but you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know it at that time, what would that be?
Let's see here. I would say clarity, man. Start with clarity.
Mm,
So don't just make something that looks good. Make something that means something, and make sure that your audience knows it too, because that's what actually matters. Beauty outside of without context has no point.
wow, that's a bar. That's
See
a
if I can
bar.
get you in the room.
Beauty without context has no point. Context or content, you said?
Context, yeah, because
Context.
it all depends on its circumstance and specific situation.
Yeah, fair enough. This is gonna sound stupid, but it reminds me of this song by 50 Cent, or I forget exactly, but it basically you wouldn't enjoy the sun if there was no rain,
Hmm.
love without hate, or dark without, or light without dark. So, something along those lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Context, and it's the contrast that makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
What's one tool or resource that's been a game changer for you in business?
Oh, definitely AI, ChatGPT, I'm a huge proponent of, but I will give this caveat. Mastery is important when it
Mm,
comes to AI. People are really worried about the changes to AI and the disruption that it's bringing, but those that are masters at what they do, it just
yeah.
becomes a tool. Just because you
Mm.
have access to something doesn't mean that you're going to be excellent.
So, how are you going about achieving that mastery and that skill set?
You gotta put in the reps, man. Mastery only comes through one way, and that's working. Put in
Fair
the
enough.
reps, learn from those that are already excellent, learn from those that have come before you. Yeah,
I
go
like
from
that.
there.
Does that, practically speaking, though, does that look like just YouTube videos, courses, none of the above, all of the above? What does that look like?
All of the above, and also talking to people. I was just on a marketing panel a couple weekends ago with a good
Nice.
friend of mine that I got to know from the coffee shop that I own. And she has worked for Snapple and large companies, has been doing branding and strategy for 20 plus years. And so
Mhm.
I like learning from her. So yes, go to the YouTube, go do the tutorials, go buy a course, go to a conference, but also talk to people.
I love that a lot. Yeah, I like that. And don't really have an ego to ask for help. I think that's the
Exactly.
starting thing.
Exactly. Leave your ego at the door for sure.
1000%. Another bar. What's the best piece of what's the best piece of advice you've received around growing your company? But it doesn't necessarily need to be received. It could be heard, read, anything like that.
The best advice that I've received around growing the company, man, I would say probably specifically growing the company. Don't sell deliverables, sell the transformation. I would say that specifically applies to this company, especially.
I am a big believer in that. And that's why a lot of times I'll find, especially because I'm doing this more often, I'm talking to so many
Hmm.
people every single week, is that a lot of founders who are really good at the thing that they do, they a lot of times they suck at selling it
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
know the technicalities so well that
Hmm.
the call becomes all about that, but they're never really talking about what is the benefit of this thing, and then what is the benefit of that benefit, and then what is the benefit of the benefit. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And that's
Hmm.
really what sales and marketing comes down to. I love what you're saying. Have you ever heard the analogy of you sell the beach and the drinks on the beach, but you don't sell the TSA, you don't sell the plane
Hmm.
flight, you don't sell all the things that's going to get you there. So yeah, you're
Hmm.
gonna have to get on the plane. It's going to be annoying and it's going to suck maybe potentially, but really the focus is how much fun you're going to have on the beach, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I like that. What's the best way for people to reach out to you?
Social media, website, LinkedIn, phone call, carrier pigeon, totally. But no,
Yeah,
I've got
plug your
all my links that
address
I can
real
provide
quick.
for you guys. Yeah. So it's primroseconsult.com will be my website. That's probably about the best way, honestly.
Awesome. I meant your home address for the carrier pigeon. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, yeah.
Darryl, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciated this conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you're a business owner and you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.